Hi, and welcome to episode 2 of Return of the Retro on Tuesday, June 18th at about 11:30 p.m. on the East Coast. I am Randark, and with me, as always, is Ervik. Say hi, Ervik.
Hello.
Hello again. Oh, man, I screwed up the original recording, so you guys get to hear the second intro, which hopefully goes a little better. Today we're going to be talking about Mega Man and some E3 news, along with some retro news that came out over the past couple weeks. And normally I'd say hi to the live chat, but Twitch decided to shit the bed tonight, and so we have no live chat. We are part of the Geek Insomnia Network. Go ahead, you can chime in. I'm not trying to talk over you.
Oh no, just womp womp for Twitch TV.
Womp womp. We're part of the Geek Insomnia Network. If you're not listening to the rest of the shows in the network, you should be. There's Geek Culture Happy Hour, Late Night Steamer, Minecraft Uncensored, and us, Return to the Retro. Hopefully there'll be 3 more shows coming out in the next couple weeks, maybe a couple months. I know I'm going to be part of one of those if it comes out. And hopefully we can get other shows interested in joining the network. And if you are, please send us an email at hosts@returnoftheretro.com, and I can get you in touch with the guy who runs everything. It's terrific. Anyway, Ervik, what have you been playing?
Well, for the second time, Mega Man, clearly, as indicated by the show title. I'm playing some Mega Man. MechWarrior Online, which is my online game of choice currently.
How was the play to pay, the buy to win? You know what I mean.
Pay to win? It's actually not very much.
Stuff.
So basically what happens is 90% of the stuff in the game you can buy with in-game currency or real money, depending on what floats your boat. There are what they call champion mechs or hero mechs. Those mechs can only be bought with real money. They're a little on the expensive side, usually between $20 and $30. But they also, using them, you accrue money faster if you use that mech with in-game currency and experience. So it's a nice little thing. It's not overpowered. The mechs aren't necessarily any better. They may be a little different than the same mech that's not the paid version, but not necessarily more powerful. So it works out. I think they struck a nice balance. I really enjoy it. I spent $15 out of the 6 months I've been playing it. So my game enjoyment to cash dollars is still doing really well.
That's pretty good. I usually rate how much I want to spend on a game based on, how much entertainment I get out of a 2-hour movie for a $10 ticket at the theater. And because of that, usually I end up buying anything I want. And the wife doesn't really appreciate that, but it works for me.
Yeah, I have a similar philosophy, I think, because, I spend $10 at the theater, and then I end up seeing World War Z, and it's a steaming pile of shit, or I spend $50 and get, 12 hours out of something, and even if it's mediocre, I got way more time investment at least, right?
Yeah. What else you been playing?
Marvel Heroes, which I believe you've also been playing. I haven't really invested a lot of time there yet, so I haven't really struck a feeling on it.
I'm kind of getting the same feeling I got out of Chrono Trigger as far as the run-on sentence. It seems like they're just like comics do. I mean, it's fitting for comics to do this, but you're chasing down a tablet, then someone went and stole it, and then he needs it for legal reasons, and then you gotta go take it back, and it's just like, I had the fucking thing. I don't need this whole side quest bullshit. Just advance the story. Don't keep sidetracking me.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, for being a Diablo clone, it turns out, I didn't even realize this myself till I played this game, your character never looks different unless you buy a new suit for him. That's like the only way to look different in this game. And the appeal of new loot, like half of that for me is like looking cooler and more awesome. In a typical Diablo clone like Path of Exile or Diablo 3, which is not a clone, obviously, you look like crap at level 1. You got, if you're a dude, you got like a pair of boxer shorts and a wooden club. If you're a lady, you get a bra, some underwear, and a club. And you wander around, smash it, and eventually you look like a flaming, ice-shooting badass. And I don't get that with this game, and it really hampers my enjoyment and my desire to kill that next thing.
Did I just hear that you want to be a flaming...
ice-shooting badass?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
As long as I'm shooting ice, it's all good.
For me, I understand how iconic the characters are in comics and why you'd want to keep them the same. But I think it should be a little easier to get some of the stuff you got to pay for, like the costumes and that, in order to change. I mean, I'm through chapter 4, about halfway through it. I just killed Fisk, and I I still have only the one character you get right away. Well, you get the one character you start with, and then you get a free character right away. So I have Daredevil and Hawkeye, which neither are real exciting characters to me.
I also got Hawkeye, so I'm wondering if he's not just like everybody gets Hawkeye. I don't. Do Hawkeyes get Hawkeye? I don't.
Yeah, they couldn't. That's the only thing. If you picked Hawkeye out of the first 5 you get to choose from it, you got to get someone else, right?
It is. I hope so. It is weird. It's seeing like, I played as the Thing, and everywhere I go, there's like 14 things, and it's just. I understand what they're doing with these iconic looks, but if you're gonna throw 14 things in the same area, it takes away some of that uniqueness. Again, since you just always look the same, it's just something missing, and I need variety. The gameplay is really good, though.
The gameplay is pretty good. The one thing I don't like, though, is all the Captain Americas seem to look so close together that if you're out fighting with them and you're paying attention to killing enemies, you can never tell which one you're out with unless they have the kite shield instead of the circular shield.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be, one of the mainstays of the whole Marvel universe. He's the leader of the Avengers. He's been around since World War II. I mean, he absolutely should be the most iconic character. And they gave him 5 costumes. Yay! 4 of them look almost identical.
Yeah, and some of the characters only have like the Punisher has like 2 costumes. Rocket Raccoon has like 2. So there's some characters that don't have any yet. I forget which ones they are, but I know at least when last I checked, they didn't have any. So
I was looking into buying the Punisher. He's only $9, but I watched someone else play him, and you might as well be a goon. And you look the same as the mafia guys out in the street. You just run around shooting things. Thanks, I understand he's a Punisher, and that's what he does. But let me do some cooler stuff. Like let me. Have some special move where I grab him by the head and rip it off or something sick and gross.
Man, I will tell you, if they ever add the 2099 lineup that I can play as, I will be on board. You let me play as Punisher 2099 and ride around on a sentient motorcycle called Goldheart that's invisible and goes 800 miles an hour, you sign me up.
Yeah, we're not nerds. Anyway, so I've also been playing Mega Man, obviously. I got back into Assassin's Creed 2 today, and when I did, I remembered why I stopped playing, and the answer to that is Uplay. Fuck you, Ubisoft. I don't need another shell inside of Steam where I bought the game to launch the game again. I don't need your updates. I don't need your fucking cloud saves. Eat my fucking asshole. Maybe someday I'll finish your game.
What's sad is that Uplay nonsense also exists on the 360 version and the PS3. So you put your disc in, you're like, yeah, I'm going to play. And then you have to go sign up for another account, which I think there's a way to bypass on the consoles, but it's not easy. So I just did it, and it took me like, when I first played, an extra like 10 minutes to sign up, go do the thing, go check the thing, come back, authenticate that I got the email that I signed. Oh, it's a friggin' nightmare.
I bought Assassin's Creed 1 just before the beginning of the year, and my goal was to get all the way through 3 and be ready for 4 when it came out. And I got through 1 in a month, and I was like, that was really good. I didn't have to deal with Uplay then. I didn't even know it existed. 1 was a good storyline. I wanted to know what happened to the modern-day guy more and stuff. And AC2 starts out with that, but before I even got there, there's Uplay, fucking my world up. So now I don't know if I'm going to bother to play Brotherhood or the other one, and then...
I skipped Brotherhood. I played the rest. To be honest...
Ezio doesn't do anything for me.
They've gotten progressively worse, in my opinion, which, I don't know. They're not necessarily worse in any definable sense. I get more and more bored. They add more and more stuff that I just don't care about. I don't know. We'll see how the 4th one goes, because I'm curious about this 4th one, because they pretty much wrap up the story they were working with AC3, so I don't know how they're going to sell me on the story on this one, so I'll at least pay attention to it, if not pick it up.
At least it's pirates. At least they're introducing something completely different for the genre.
Yeah, and you can swim underwater, which they're like really selling, like underwater, like, all right, I can hold my breath for what, like a minute and a half? I don't know.
Someone didn't pay attention to World of Warcraft or Echo the Dolphin or any other underwater game that absolutely sucked and was too terribly hard. Anyway, I've also been playing Magic the Gathering Marvel Heroes. Hydro Thunder on my Dreamcast. I love that game. Hydro Thunder! I went and I bought a new to me Xbox because mine was dying. The original Xbox, not the Xbox One, because we can't say that anymore. And so I've got that for $45. The guy wouldn't come down to 40 what the other store was selling it for, but he did let me get a $5 game, Deus Ex Invisible War, for free.
Which is a great game.
That worked out. I've only started Invisible War. I never got past like the intro shit. Bet when we were in the barracks together is when we got the original, and
which to me is still the best Deus Ex.
I remember I got that with my sound card, and I had the speakers surrounding me. That was freaking awesome.
I do remember that. You had to move your barracks furniture around to stack them behind you.
Yeah, I did. It was nice. We never got inspected though until like 2 weeks later, and they're like, "Hey, you don't have any toilet paper?" No, I've been buying my own. Oh, let us get you some. Well, fucking thanks, dude.
But wait, do you have to look in my room to buy me toilet paper? Because I'll buy my own. If I have to trade one for the other.
And I've also been playing Rift. Some of the guys from Late Night Steamer and Geek Culture Happy Hour have been playing, and I'm trying to get into that. But I'm getting the same problem I had when I was playing Mists of Pandaria. I'm not having as much fun playing alone. The groups I was with are all gone, and I don't play at the same times as those guys. A lot of them are up a lot later than I am. So yeah,
that's what happened with WoW for me as well. I wasn't as into Pandaria as some people, but other people were into it way less. My guild fell apart, and once you don't have a guild, it's just what's the point? An MMO is for friends. If without playing with people, an MMO is a really crappy single player game.
Yeah, you need to go do this. No, thanks.
I did. I forgot about this one. I bought and completed Last of Us for the PS3, and that game is fantastic. I actually love the story so much that someone should make a movie, and I will go sit and watch it like 4 times. The story is fantastic. The gameplay is only okay. It's a standard third person. It's by Naughty Dog guys at Uncharted. It plays a lot like Uncharted. It's got it's a little more like stealth oriented and stuff, but there's not the gameplay is okay. It's nothing to write home about. It's kind of like Heavy Rain. It's where you're there for the story. And I friggin' love the story. Through the gameplay, they make me care about various characters. Stuff happens to various characters, and you actually give a shit. I really, really had a good time with that game.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. Is it going to be available on PC? Do you know?
No. Naughty Dog, PS3 only maker. They're pretty much exclusive. So, yeah. Maybe you can stream it on the PS4 one day.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll buy a PS4. I was thinking about it, and then Microsoft did the 180, which we'll talk about a little bit. But now I kind of feel like, fuck them both. Maybe I'll pick up a Wii U. But we'll get into all that.
6 months, you might be able to get one of those for a song.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It could be cheap as fuck come, this time next year. So, anyway, you wanted to present some news you found.
Just 2 quick items. We talked about this last week, I think, a little bit, but Evoland is a great game. It's $5 until like the 24th, so over the rest of this weekend. So if you catch this podcast early enough, you can go enjoy that. It's normally 10, it's now 5. I've only played a little bit of it since I bought it today, and I love it. I think you've played most of it, and you were pretty enamored of it.
I don't know if I've played most, but I'm into the CD era, and aside from the lack of save spaces, I just wish there was a few more of those, because it feels like you do like too much work before you die, and then you gotta restart everything.
Gotcha.
But short of that, it is the gameplay's great. It's fun. I like how the game evolves. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
I like that it does that.
I guess we should. For those of you that don't know, Evoland is a RPG essentially where you level up the game. You start in like the 8-bit era, and as you progress, the game unlocks like new colors, new sounds. You enter the 16-bit, then you enter the 32, etc., until you become a modern video game, which is a pretty neat little concept, I think.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see this on the top half of your screen. You wanted to present the other game too, right?
Yeah. Capcom just released the 2-pack of the old Dungeons and Dragons games that were arcade. they released them both under one title. It's Chronicles of Mystara. It comes with both Tower of Doom and Shadows of Mystara. These games are fantastic in the arcade. They're basically side-scrolling beat-em-ups. You just constantly are moving right, much like the X-Men games of the same generation, or almost anything else you can contemplate. Side-scrolling, you move left to right. It actually introduced equipment that would drop that had durability and would eventually break. So you had this new little element going on. Things dropped money, including a little gnome that you could kick, and he would shoot money out. Love kicking the gnome. She would shoot money out, and you can buy stuff. You actually, at the end of every level, would get to pick the next. You actually had divergent paths. You would pick your next level, and it would branch between usually 2 options. So you could actually, multiple playthroughs and see different levels, which is kind of nice. So they've been really updated. They're on Steam for like $15, I think, now.
Yeah.
They've got drop-in, drop-out co-op with up to 4 players. They, it's all new graphics. They updated them, made them not quite like full HD, but way better than the 1990s arcade version. They added a nice RPG element over it where you can level up your characters and stuff. And all in all, for $15 is a pretty decent package if you love them or if you've never experienced them. It's not a bad way to go.
Have you picked them up yet?
I haven't yet. I'm going to. I've got so many other things on my plate. I just hadn't got around to it. Plus, being cheap like I am, I'm hoping it goes on sale.
Yeah, Steam sale, summer sale should be soon. GOG's having theirs right now, and they've had some good deals. But I'm actually going to check these 2 games out on my main machine this weekend. See what they're like in the original before I buy the $15 copy. But if it goes on sale on Steam sale, even for 33%, I'll go ahead and grab it because based on the video, it looks great.
Yeah, I loved them immensely. If you're a fan of that arcade style, you're gonna love them.
Yeah, I love side-scrolling beat-em-ups. I've actually just kept tapping my coin in button so I could beat Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, Final Fight on my main machine and Turtles in Time and shit. I love that fucking genre. It's great. Anyway, let's get on to E3, shall we?
Oh, I guess we have to, don't we?
So earlier this week, actually it's been a week now. It was last Saturday night. Scott, Viper, myself, and Andy from Geek Culture Happy Hour got together and we talked about everything that was revealed in that in a special Geek Insomnia presentation. If you guys want to check that out. So we're just going to go over a few of the things we loved and hated, and a little bit about the Xbox One and the PS4, and maybe some other highlights. So we'll start with my top 3. The top 3 things I was interested in were Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, Knack, and Watch Dogs. PvZ looks like it's going to be basically Dungeon Defenders with a new skin, but it looks great. I love Dungeon Defenders. I love the co-op in it. I've got about 40 hours logged in that game already, and I've only had it for maybe 6 months. And I really like the way they presented it, doing it like it was a Battlefield game with the presentation, which you can see in the video right now. I just like the idea of the co-op gameplay, destroying all the zombies, and you still got all the cuteness of the original game in it, without losing a whole lot. I mean, it's going to be 3D. So it's not going to be real strategic as much as it is, now a third-person shooter, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's also on my list, actually. That game looks like a ton of fun, and I'm excited for it. I always like that unique new art style, and I liked the art style they had, so it's combining 2 things I love, and I'm gonna enjoy it, I'm sure.
For Knack, I like the idea of you grow as you kill crap and collect shit to the point where you can be 3 stories tall and just stomping on little guys. When I first saw it in the PlayStation 4, I think it's PlayStation 4 presentation, I thought it was, the way they presented it was completely up to you how you programmed it. I wasn't exactly sure how they're going to do that with the controller, and turns out I am wrong in that. There's a set story and everything, and it's not as innovative as I first thought it was, but it still looks like it's a fun game. Yeah, anything you want to say about Knack, or?
I looked at it a little bit, and I think it's gonna be good, but I think the premise is not gonna be lived up to, and that is based on nothing other than my perpetual disappointment with games I get excited about, with new exciting ways that they do things. So it could be the best game ever. I'm reserved usually when I see these, like, really, I'm like, that's a cool idea no one's ever tried before. It always falls flat for me, so I'm staying reserved on this one.
And last for me was Watch Dogs, which I'll let you talk about. But I will say one thing you hate about E3 was part of Watch Dogs, and that's really what got me interested in it. But we'll go on to your top games. Or top things you liked about E3? What are they? Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to start with Watch Dogs. That game looks fantastic. It looks like a version of Grand Theft Auto I can get behind, essentially. I will tell you right flat out, I've never been a big Grand Theft Auto fan, that whole open world stuff. After I was like 12 and got tired of running over pedestrians and beating up hookers, the game just never really resonated for me. I played them all the way through 4. I just find them kind of boring. This game looks fantastic. As long as everything they promise works, it's going to be like the fact that you can have multiple people in your world constantly doing different things in different sections of the city. Like, I love this whole, ever since Journey, everyone's kind of jumping on this like seamless multiplayer thing, and I honestly think this is the wave of the future. A single player game that incorporates multiplayer is brilliant. It's a single player MMO, and that to me is fantastic. Like, that seamless transition where I don't have to go to a separate version of the game. I don't have to load into multiplayer and do deathmatch. Like, this is just happening in my world. I love that. That is where video games need to go, in my opinion. Followed closely, my second favorite game is Dark Souls 2, and I know you know this. I fucking love Demon Souls and Dark Souls. They are brutally hard to the point of being like, sadomasochist excursions of self-flagellation. You will die so much, but I love them. They are, God, a game that is just unrelenting in its vision. Like, this is what we're doing. Fucking hop on board. Because when you die in Dark Souls or Demon Souls, you don't get mad at the game. You're like, fuck you, game, you cheated me. You're like, God damn it, I suck. I failed. They gave me all the tools. I had everything I needed, and I fucking sucked.
That sounds very familiar based on what we're going to be talking about later.
Exactly. It is. Dark Souls is the embodiment of that 8-bit and early 16-bit, not hand-holding game style, where here's the game world, everything works, enjoy it. You never feel cheated, nothing ever feels cheap, they give you everything you need, and I friggin' love it. It's like my favorite thing. And my third game, I'm reserving a little bit on this one too. I'm trying to keep my excitement down, but Destiny looks fantastic. And again, you'll see a recurring theme. Dark Souls also has this seamless multiplayer where if you're going on a mission, you may drive by to your mission and see people on another planet that need your help. You go to help them, and they're just players, and your worlds have collided, and you've been seamlessly merged into this one server where their actions and your actions are all happening in the same plane of existence. And that, to me, again, is just tits. Like, that's where it's at.
The one thing about Watch Dogs that I really like, you didn't mention it, was at one point he needs help from another player, and someone was playing the game on a tablet and was able to, hack whatever they needed hacked and get it done for him. I would really like that on certain nights, when the wife wants to go watch TV on the couch or something. I can have the tablet in my lap and be, helping people out and playing the game and enjoying myself while also trying to watch her horribleness on TV.
They showed that a lot at this E3. This was the best example of it. But we'll get into that more with the things I hate. But this I actually like. This implementation of the quote-unquote smart glass, where you can maybe play parts of your game when you are not at your system, to me is great. Like, if you're, let's say you've been playing BioShock for, a couple days, and you're now on a trip and you can't be playing BioShock, and you can, maybe surf the world and flip through the audio logs you've found, or, maybe do like some hacking minigames, something like that. Being able to take a game I want to play everywhere with me on any platform or tablet in some form or fashion, that I really like the idea of. We'll get into what I hate about that in a minute. Actually, right after this. I just want to throw out a quick, a fourth game, I guess. Elder Scrolls Online. I am excited about. I love Elder Scrolls. I love MMOs. I want this to work. It's probably going to suck. Why is there no player housing? I don't know. But I want this to be great, and I hope it's great.
I signed up for the beta of that a while ago when Cynos first came out, and
Yeah,
I was rated it very likely to be selected. And meanwhile, it's been about 4 months, and no one's heard anything except that now it's going to be available on consoles.
next gen consoles. Which I don't know. It seems kind of this whole there was a lot of D3 this like MMOs on consoles. And the problem with this is there's never a big enough player base. They tried it with Final Fantasy 11. They tried it with a couple other games, and there's just
Phantasy Star Online.
there's never enough players because the consoles are segmented. If 360 and or Xbox One or Xbone or whatever you want to call it, and the PS4 share the same server system, it would be great. They don't, so you end up with these two tiny fragmented ecosystems, and then the PC version has 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times the players. So I know they're trying to get into this market. I just don't see MMOs on consoles until there's a bigger market for it. They're going to keep trying, and God bless them. Maybe it'll work out one day. We'll see. Plus, if this actually snuck through at E3, but I'm sure you noticed, in the fervor that everyone had for the PS4 and how it destroyed Microsoft, they slipped in that whole you're going to have to pay to play online.
Yeah,
Which a lot of people missed. So that was a big problem with the Xbox in like Final Fantasy 11 is you had to double pay to play because you have to have the gold membership to play online, and then you're paying the same price that PC players are paying for access to that game's servers. So you're double paying essentially for the same privilege, and I don't know, it seems kind of weak.
and actually, Microsoft's going to make you do that with Netflix still too.
Yeah, God, stupid. Whatever.
But Sony's only going to be $5 to play online, which isn't horrible. It pays maintenance costs and that, but that should be covered by the games that are going to be using it and their sales, not this shit.
I'm not against paying to play. I wish I didn't have to, but at the same time, it was coming. Microsoft's already been doing it for 7 years. Sony's just now getting on the bandwagon, but it was coming. I mean, we're not shocked by it.
And at least you're getting something for your money. Sony's going to give you 2 games a month, and they don't give shit games. The games that I've been hearing that have been given out recently are absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, they've been doing a pretty good job. Ever since that hacking debacle, they've been pretty on the ball about rewarding their PlayStation Plus members.
Well, they better. They kind of fucked everyone over.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I haven't bought a Sony product in quite a few years now.
I haven't either. I haven't been boycotting them per se, but Sony products just have not been at the forefront. I think the PS3 might be the last big Sony product I bought.
Well, let's get into things you didn't like at E3.
Things I hated. Oh, man. I hate everything, so this is hard to narrow down. You'll learn this after a few more episodes. I hate just fucking everything. Everything annoys me. But the things I hated the most at E3, one was the goddamn Wii U. This thing is the biggest missed opportunity in the history of ever. They come to E3, the biggest forum for games. They decline to even have a press conference, which that's like giving up. That's like, man, you know what? I don't even want to go to the playoffs. I'm not gonna fucking win. Let's just go home. They do the Nintendo Direct thing. If you wanted to watch it, they streamed it out to everybody. It was laggy and didn't work worth the shit, so no one got to see dick all about what Nintendo was about. They're still trying to tell people that this isn't just a peripheral you can buy for your Wii, first of all, and that is just shitty marketing. The name, the design, the big, heavy, clunky controller, which just fuck it, the controller gets into another thing I hate. I'm going to get into this, the second screen nonsense, but we're on the Wii U. And just their big selling point with the Wii U when it came out was third-party games. We're going to have all the third-party games. Thus far, all we've gotten is a couple of shitty ports that aren't as good as they are on other systems, despite claims otherwise. Bayonetta 2, maybe eventually. I don't know what's going on with that game. Is that out yet? I haven't been paying attention because it looks whatever. Bayonetta 2, and no one is making any other games for this thing. There's like even Ubisoft, who is like Wii's biggest fan, is like nothing listed after Christmas of this year, like at all. And the only games that Wii U is coming out with is the tried and true staples. You're getting Mario Kart. You're getting a Zelda remake. God damn it, Wind Waker is okay, but I do not want to play it again. And Smash Brothers, which for the record, I don't know what I'm gonna get flamed hardcore on internet for this, but Smash Brothers is fucking boring. That game sucks. People that play it suck. The worst. It's like Mario Party of fighting games. and you know Mario Party sucks.
I like Smash Brothers when I'm playing with people who aren't so talented at getting back on the platform. That's the part that kills me. Once you hit the bottom, when your life is gone, if you get hit with a large shot that knocks you off, there should be no way to recover. That's what kills me about it.
It's like, it's fun for like a half hour, but most things are fun for like a half hour. I'd probably smash my finger with a hammer for that long just because I was bored. God, the game, I do not get the fan base. Like, the first time I get it, that shit was fun when you had 4 people in one room. Whatever, let's move on with our lives. Just, the Wii U seems like a giant missed opportunity for Nintendo to step forward. They're getting killed in sales now, and it's showing that they're kind of like tail between their legs, and it hurts to see Nintendo that way, because they're good company, they make good shit. I love Mario, the Mario game looks great. I don't know how I feel about a cat suit, but whatever, Japan's weird, so we've had weirder shit.
The Tanuki suit's far weirder.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wow.
The game, here's the problem. It looks like the same engine that New Super Mario Bros. Was on.
And it probably is.
Combined with the Galaxy engine to bring it into 3D. And while that's fine, the game still looks great and looks fun. I don't feel like I'm going to get anything out of 3D World that I don't have with the other 2 games.
Yeah, they proved that with the sequel to New Super Mario Brothers, the second one they made, because that thing didn't sell for shit. The first one blew up. The second one was like, it was okay, but like, that nostalgia trip works occasionally, but you can't keep going to that well. You've got to do new. You've done Super Mario Galaxy, we've done Galaxy 2, and now you're going back with World into just kind of 3D'ing the new Super Mario feel, and that's forward, Nintendo, forward. Every time you get your ass handed to you, you go back again. Let's forward this shit.
They think they're gonna pull the nostalgia off again because they're pulling, how each character has different abilities, reminiscent of Mario 2. But no one likes Mario 2.
That game. That's because it was never a Mario game. It was, forget the name, Japanese weird shit that they slap Mario characters in. It's
personally, I like to play it, but I know it's a lot of shit on the internet for being a shitty game.
It's not a shitty game per se. It's a shitty Mario game. It doesn't fit the Mario universe. Doesn't fit the Mario feel. It's not a bad game. It was just a really weird decision on Nintendo's part when they released it. I don't know. The Wii U is going to go down. I don't think anything they're going to do is going to salvage the system. They're going to cut the price again. It's going to move a few units. But unless they can really come out with something like fantastic soon, because everything that they're like the new Zelda and shit, that's way next year, and this system came out with nothing. Where's Pikmin 3? We were promised that shit at launch. Where is that? Yes, I don't know.
It's been out 6 or 7 months now. I don't remember if it was November or December launch, and I know I can already go down to the local store and buy one used, and the problem is, I look at the shelf. All the games are the same as they've been since December.
There's no support for the system, and they're gonna have to do something pretty serious to get me interested in that system. And so that's going to segue me right into this smart glass nonsense, because the Wii U has the same fucking problem with this stupid second controller. Everybody's like new thing, they went from motion controls to this, is they want me to, while I'm playing my video game, to have a second screen somewhere that I can fucking look at. When I'm playing like Halo or Call of Duty or whatever I'm playing, the last goddamn thing I want to do is set the controller down, pick up my iPad, look at it, land an artillery strike, put that shit back down, and then pick up my controller again when I can just do that shit with the controller. Like, I don't need this other screen. I don't need to see the, like, horse shit. You want me looking at your game. Anything that takes the controller out of my hand is a bad idea. And, Nintendo tried to get over that by putting it in your hand, but now you're holding a 10-pound weight the whole time you're playing the Wii U. I hate the second screen nonsense. There are really cool applications for smart glass. Let me get that clear. It's when they want me, and what they're all trying to do is make me use it while I'm playing my game, and that's not what I want. What I want is, like, if I'm investing in Madden, I want to be able to manage my season shit and, maybe alter my playbook on the fly when I'm out doing whatever. Or there's a
So that way when you get home, you can spend the time playing the fucking football
exactly.
game.
And or if because some of that season shit, when you simulate something, that takes forever. So that'd be really nice. There's a really cool feature in I forget the karaoke game they did. But if you were having like a karaoke party at your house on this game, you actually could lay the iPad or your Android device over there. Or if for some reason you own a Windows 8 tablet, you can use that too. You could select songs and queue up songs to the game that's in progress, and that's fucking neat because the game never stops. Everyone is just doing the thing, and it's like, oh my, just like if you were like a real karaoke bar, your song just shows up and it gives you a few seconds, you stand up and go do it, and a whole while everyone else can queue up on the other side. That is fantastic. Uses of technology that make it easier for me to play are fantastic. As soon as you're like, here's some shit that takes you out of the game, like, no, this is stupid. Don't make me put my controller down. I hate it. Freaking hate it.
One of the things about the Wii U's second controller that really bothers me is it's Bluetooth. Why the fuck did you make it Bluetooth? Why didn't you use Wi-Fi so that I could, when my wife wants to go to bed at 9 fucking o'clock at night, and I'm sitting there playing a video game, she wants me to come to bed to spend time with her, I can't just bring the controller up to the bedroom because it's fucking 30 feet and walls. If I had Wi-Fi, that bitch would work in the fucking bed and she could go to sleep and I could still sit there and play my fucking video game.
That's... Oy. And this moves me directly into, and these are going to integrate together, the two things. So for the last one, is the Xbox One's Kinect's, like, the weird decision to have the Kinect always attached. Even after they, did the 180 deal here recently and backed out of all the DRM stuff, they kept the Kinect is always watching you. I've seen the internet meme where the Kinect watches you masturbate. I, for one, don't masturbate in my living room. I think that's weird. So I don't know why the Kinect would be watching me. But the fact that it's always on, always plugged in, I just there's no need for it. It's obnoxious. The microphone is always on. I can always hear you. And I'm sure I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't think Microsoft's listening and watching me do whatever I do. It's just weird and stupid. There's literally no need for it. So why bother including it? And then just directly into the TV stuff. They tried to sell this TV stuff like it's got HDMI pass-through, so essentially you can control your cable box through your system. Now, that you can't, there's only certain things you can do. Like, for instance, if you have a DVR, you have to switch back to the DVR if you want to use any DVR functions. So literally all you can do is turn on your live TV, which I don't think anyone watches, and you can pull up, like, the volume or change the channel. But everyone who has cable owns a DVR, so this service is worthless. No one is going to use this. It seems cool, but as soon as you realize that you can't do anything that you can do with a DVR, it loses. You're just going to switch back to the DVR, especially since it's one button. The potential is there. When Xbox said they were doing all this TV shit, I was actually kind of excited because I was hoping some cord cutting. I wanted them to show me all the places I get online content. I wanted them to, I wanted to be like, search with my, like, Connect, find me that episode of whatever show, and it searches the internet, finds that show, tells me if there's any way I can watch it. If I can't, tells me when I could buy it. Like, it's like, oh, you can't watch it for free, but you can buy it on Amazon. Or if it's like, oh, you know what, I searched the TV guide, and that episode comes on in 3 weeks. Do you want me to record that shit for you? And I'll be like, yeah, Xbox, do that shit. But that's not what we got. We got some nonsense HDMI pass-through that no one will use, that they spent a good 3/4 of their press conference talking about. So, good God. The worst.
The problem for me on that whole situation is I don't need an Xbox to do any of that. And I went over this before, last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever our last episode was. I don't need an Xbox to do any of that. I got 3 devices in the house now that already can handle that, and that's not counting computers and tablets and phones. And it's getting ridiculous with everything that can reach all the services, which, convenient, yes, but only one's hooked up to my 55-inch TV.
That's the problem. If it was a true all-in-one, it could do everything you need with the TV. Great. I only need this one box. I can get rid of my DVR box. It can DVR. That would be fantastic. Since it's just an overlay to your existing TV situation, instead of forward-looking and moving to, like, a la carte type TV, like, where we're clearly headed, Microsoft chose to entrench itself with the cable companies that are dying. That model is dying. If you go look at the cable companies, they're citing record numbers of people ditching cable. and it's a matter of time. These cable companies need to get on board and start offering a la carte services over the internet and be competitive with it. But it's for a system that says it's the future, it's looking forward, to take 2 steps back and ally yourselves with cable companies, it blows my mind. It was the worst decision.
The only reason I keep a DirecTV subscription is live sports. That is it. If I wasn't watching, hockey or football or baseball, there'd be no reason for me to have it. And up until last year, I didn't, because I didn't feel like it was worth the price. And if I hadn't gotten the raise that I got, I still wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah.
And then today I went and ordered another box, so I'll have 5 places to watch it in my house. But that's another story.
First world problems.
Yeah, it's tough,
So what, my friend, did you hate?
Well, I was going to go off on the Xbox One again for all its bullshit, but since they pulled their 180 earlier this week, and now you no longer have to check in online every 24 hours, and you are going to be able to play any of your friends' games and all that shit that we complained about, I'm not really going to shit on it too bad. It's still $100 more than the PS4, and the PS4 does all the same shit. So basically, do I want to pay an extra $100 to get the Halo series?
And the Kinect camera, don't forget.
Oh,
it's always watching you.
Yeah, I don't really care about that. I don't care about any of that. Anyway, so I was going to shit on that. I'm going to kind of leave it alone. I think I've done enough of that. One thing I'm going to mention, though, Rise. Can we call this QuickTime Events the movie? Because that seemed like all this was. The whole presentation of the game was, press X. Okay, X. Press left and up. Left, up.
Don't forget the shitty Kinect controls. Fucking. Oh. God. Guys, if I wanted to, simulate playing golf, I would just go play golf. Let me sit on my couch.
Now, I understand in where I am, it gets fucking cold in the winter and there's snow on the goddamn ground. Simulating playing Tiger Woods in the winter, I actually enjoy. I can do that with my fucking Wii already. And it feels like I'm holding a golf club as opposed to nothing. So I'll actually give Wii a plus over the Kinect on that one.
Yeah, that is, if you're going to simulate golf, being able to have something weighty in your hand is, as long as you don't throw it into your TV, which, come on. Guys, put the wrist strap on.
Yeah, they upgraded them. You get them for free. I mean, it's not real hard here. But, Rise, the graphics look great. The gameplay looks fun if you like QuickTime events. But if you want to feel like you're in 300, then I should have some sort of better combat system. I mean, I don't know. It would be better. And the other thing I'm going to complain about at E3, I don't need some guy talking about release, receive, release, receive. I don't give a crap what you have to say about dribbling, or dribbling in general, or basketball, or EA Sports in general. Did you notice the one sport that they do that was completely missing? Yeah, hockey. Why? Because we're not in fucking Canada. But that's okay. Hockey is my number one sport, and I'm pissed that it wasn't featured. And I don't give a shit about some poet guy rapping about fucking dribbling a basketball.
Yeah.
Just go away. That didn't sell anything. Do you want to talk any more about the Expo and the PS4, or are we pretty good?
I think we're pretty good. We mentioned the Xbox went away with the DRM. It does still require the initial internet setup, which is still kind of baffling. I don't know, guys.
Well, that's because they can't make... Now, personally, I think they could make the adjustments, but maybe they have so many in stock already that they can't go back and reburn all the ROMs that are in them.
That's true.
They have to get a day one download to patch for the.
But you know what that's going to lead to, right? Is you don't have an internet setup. What it's going to lead to is friggin' Geek Squad setup. We'll have $50 and we'll hook up your Xbox and set it up for you. God, Geek Squad. Sons of bitches.
Sons of bitches.
The PS4 is slightly better in terms of hardware, very slightly. But the Xbox has some interesting stuff going on inside. Now, I think they're on pretty even footing aside from the price now. Xbox has a little ways to go to make up for the lost, customer faith. I don't even, and I'm on record as saying I don't even necessarily disagree with their approach to going all digital. They basically want to imitate what iTunes and Steam have done, sell you digital shit that you can never trade in, and that's probably where we're going. But Microsoft, unfortunately, was the first one to take that right foot forward, and they did it in not the smartest manner and got killed over it. So it's still coming, guys. Eventually, your console is going to be a Steam box. It's gonna happen.
I was at a baseball game today with my parents, and I told my father what Microsoft had done with this, and he's like, "They really thought that would fly?" Now this man is 56 years old, and his favorite game is Galaga, and I don't think I've seen him play it but 3 times in his life. He's not a gamer at all, and he knew that that was fucking bullshit.
It was the way they tried to unveil it wasn't the smartest. There was other ways they could have approached it without saying you can never trade your games in and stuff. There were ways they could have done this, maybe half measures towards going full digital. I think they overestimated how entrenched the Steam and iTunes mentality is, and it bit them in the ass pretty hard, actually.
So one of the things we didn't mention from the Nintendo Direct conference was a new Super Luigi game for the Wii U. Oh, and I didn't mute this one. Good job, Pete. Okay, that's fixed. So do you want to talk about this at all? Did you look at the trailer at all or anything?
I watched it briefly. I said last week, and I'll say it again this week, I think Luigi's a more interesting character than Mario because they give him more character. So I'm really curious about this game. Unfortunately, I don't own and probably will not own a Wii U in the foreseeable future. But if, for whatever reason, I buy it when the next Zelda comes out that's not a goddamn remake, I will probably pick this game up.
You can play as Nabbit. I've never even met Nabbit. How would I know Nabbit? What has he been in that I would know him?
Nabbit? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently he steals power-ups and puts them in a sack for you. Seems like you can easily troll with this guy. But it does... The game looks like, they took that same engine again and, new story, new stuff, put Luigi in there by himself. People are pissed he's not by himself, so we're kind of prophetic, I guess. Since 2 weeks ago we said there should be more Luigi alone games, and now we get them, but they don't have ghosts or vacuums.
Yeah, the fact that they made a pretty sweet sequel to Luigi's Mansion and only put it on handhelds, like, guys, it's like the perfect use of your Wii U. Like, this thing was, like, literally made for this game, and here we are. Here we are.
That being said, I wish this Luigi's U was on the 3DS so I could play it. But the one thing they did on the price, if you download this direct, it's $10 cheaper than going and buying the copy from the store. And I think that's very smart on Nintendo's for Nintendo, because if you're going to save $10, that's what you probably get when you turn it back in, since it's only a $30 game to begin with.
And they're gonna make their money back 10 times over with this digital, because they don't have to publish those extra games. They can
they got all that savings, and it's going to cause people to buy more copies because once they buy it, they can't give it up.
Yep. See, it's a full digital thing.
They're doing it the way Microsoft should have.
You gotta ease people into it. You gotta whisper some sweet nothings in their ear before you ram it in there.
I mean, it took a while for Steam to get popular. I refused when it came out to be part of it.
People hated Steam when it came out. Hated it, reviled it, and it slowly people were like, oh wait, my games can just be there and I can delete them and reinstall them, and it's just there.
This is fucking convenient. This is worth the price.
It's fucking great. It's fucking awesome, and it has sales all the time. That's the biggest thing the digital market provides. The digital market provides a way for game devs to, if their game's not selling or if they think they need a little boost, they can directly affect the price instead of going to every distributor they've got and saying, hey guys, we need to fire sale this. We need you guys to lower the price. Well, those companies have already paid for this product. So, whatever X price. So that they usually end up getting a refund from the devs if they sell it for less. And there's a whole, fucking nightmare. So that's why games sit at $60 forever without selling on GameStop shelves. You give the devs the ability to change the price at will based on market trends and stuff, and voila, sales all the time, people buying your shit all the time. It's just great. It's friggin' brilliant. And This is where we're going. We got to get there slowly.
Yeah, you can't just jump in with both feet, Microsoft. Especially after you release pieces of shit like Age of Empires Online. But
God, that game was a hot mess.
what a fucking pain in the ass to install. If you guys don't know about that, you should have tried to install it when it came out. It literally, I have like an hour logged into that game, and about 49 minutes of that was trying to get it to install correctly. Anyway, speaking of old games coming back, Killer Instinct was presented as well. I never got a chance to play as much as a kid. Mostly I played it inside Toys R Us. I didn't have a SNES, so I couldn't play Killer Instinct. But from what I understand, it never was the greatest fighting game, but people liked Combo Breaker.
It also had some pretty interesting looking characters back in the day, with fun names, and it was just a very over-the-top, clearly Mortal Kombat inspired game that took it to a whole nother level. It's almost like if someone mixed NBA Jam and Mortal Kombat, can't buy a bucket. So people really, really loved it. It had fatalities, I forget what they were called, like finishing moves. It had super combos. You could get like those 64 moves or something ridiculous. It was an okay fighting game. People loved it. I never really understood it, but it was published or developed by Rare, who, as you know, are the not known for the violent stuff.
They did Battletoads.
Battletoads isn't the same, man.
No, but it's fun.
Those are Ninja Turtles without shells.
Hey, man, that's not cool.
That's what they are. They are Ninja Turtles without shells. But yeah, they tried to come out with this. I don't know if you guys are watching on E3 or not, but this was like they were like, oh, we got something really cool to unveil. We got something really cool. You guys are gonna love it. You're gonna love it. It's like a big secret, and they come out and they're like, new Killer Instinct. And guys, guess what? Not developed by Rare. And it's like, what? Question: why do we care?
Do I want it?
It's like, why does anyone care about this? This is the most absurd.
So you bought a title and then just kind of threw the characters back in? Thank you. Maybe that's good.
Like, what's weird is they try to like tell you it's Rare because Rare has sublet the development out to I think it's Double Helix Games, I believe, is who's in charge. So it's like, oh guys, it is Rare. But you look deeper and it's like, well, it's Rare, much like Gearbox developed Aliens Colonial Marines. Their name's on the box, but they have anything to do with it.
It's Diablo, made by Diablo. It's Diablo 3, made by the guys who made other Blizzard games, but not the guys who made Diablo 2.
Yeah, it just does. All around, it was kind of this weird, and the hype they tried to put behind it, like, blows my mind. Like, it's like this. I guess, is anyone that excited about this? I mean,
Well, anyway, there is another old game coming out that put out a good video. It comes out this summer, and I'm really looking forward to it. And that is, say it with me, DuckTales. Woo!
Yeah, I am the opposite end of the spectrum from Killer Instinct. I am so fucking jazzed. Like, I am just my dick is rock hard thinking about this. Like, it is so excited.
Oh, isn't that sad, though? I mean, yes, they're bringing back our childhood, and yes, it was a great game, and based on what I'm seeing in the videos and everything, it looks like they're going to be so true to the original that the gameplay is going to be terrific. But why are we so excited over Scrooge McDuck swimming around in coins?
Scratching this retro itch in the modern era is hard to do. They don't make a lot of games that scratch this very fundamental gaming itch from our childhood. And it's unfortunate because games have gotten bigger, quote unquote, but they haven't necessarily gotten better. Some things are better. There's definitely a market for new games. I love new shit, but every once in a while, getting some like really toned down, and usually get it from the indie market, just this simple game that has really good, really fucking solid gameplay, and you don't see that a lot. And I'm just so excited, bouncing on pogo sticks.
Since Disney was willing to do this, I really hope that maybe since they own LucasArts now, that they'll go back and release some of the X-Wing and TIE Fighter games with modern graphics.
There's almost no game from the LucasArts stable that I don't want to fucking play. Yeah, you give me some Full Throttle, give me some Monkey Island, let's do this.
Also, in great retro news, Planet Ring for the Dreamcast has returned. The servers are back. I don't think I loaded the right. I did not load the right video for this, so we'll just go to the logo. Good job there, Pete. I've never actually played this game, but it was an online only game that you could play in the Dreamcast, and obviously servers have been down for a long time. And some fans got together, and now it's back up, and you can connect your Dreamcast via the broadband connector, which you can buy on eBay for an ass ton of money. Literally, I could buy 5 Dreamcasts for the cost of the adapter, and you can play Planet Ring online again. It's just great.
It is. It's weird. Do you know what Planet Ring was like?
From the videos I was looking at, it seemed like it was kind of like a more like a meeting place to play an online game with a friend.
I don't know if they ever released this game in America. I only remember it being a European thing, and it was free. It actually came with the official Dreamcast magazine, and it was a free game. And what it was meant to do was promote the internet features of this new console. You go in, and it was essentially a collection of mini games that you could play with people. Some of them supported upwards of like 30. I'm gonna guess 32 because they tend to do it by eights. 32 players. And you would just play these mini games. And I don't remember how many there were, but it was kind of like the first version of like Wii Sports, like play these games with your friends. It was super popular. It was one of those things that was free, so they just didn't bother keeping the server. They weren't making money off of it, so there was no incentive to keep it alive.
Well, that and the Dreamcast itself had its own demise.
But the servers died like well before, I believe.
And this isn't the only online game for the Dreamcast that's been brought back. Apparently you can play Phantasy Star online again, which is also very cool. What fans are willing to do to play their games is just tremendous. Speaking of tremendous things fans are willing to do, we're going to talk about the Virtual Boy for a few minutes. Apparently a TV output has finally been modded into the system, and you can play the game on a TV instead of ducking your head into that neck crank-inducing device.
I share your enthusiasm for people willing to go to great lengths to like play shit they love, but god damn it, the Virtual Boy sucks. Sucks so hard. Sweet Christ. That thing made you throw up within 10 minutes of playing it. And guess what? It's going to do it again, but this time in 2D. You only get half the D. And no, as most ladies will attest, half the D is no D at all.
Okay.
This thing, if you remember the Virtual Boy, it was this fucking thing you put on your face, like this weird set of goggles, and it had this stupid tripod that was like a foot tall. So the only way to play
fragile as fuck.
Yeah, the only way to play this, even if you were a child, was to hunch over in this weird like state, and it used 2 projectors, and it projected 2 vector graphic images. That's right, like that goddamn Star Wars game from 1984.
That game's excellent. Leave that alone.
It is a great game, but this shit came out in the 90s, man. It was vector graphic, red lines. The whole game was red. Everything in it was red. It was just lines.
I think that there was only, I think, 6 games for it, but I think that you could really have a big comeback with it with 3D TVs and a dual output, so you can actually have a 3D effect again.
Oh, but we can do that like better. This thing was, it made you throw up. Your brain just didn't work. That's why they stopped it. It was like epileptic inducing. It's the worst idea. It had.
I remember playing it in a leech mirror.
It had like 14 games. I mean, 13 if you don't count the Waterworld game, which who would? Because
it's Waterworld.
So there was, and then there was a couple only released in Japan. So there was actually something like 20-ish games if you got both European or Japanese and American games. Most of them were like Mario Tennis, but it was essentially a Pong machine in 3D when you played Mario Tennis. Like, what good is 3D Pong?
But the ball's getting closer to me.
Well, it's goddamn ridiculous.
Anyways, what's been going on in real life with you now that we're kind of past all our news?
I do appreciate, I want to iterate, the effort people go through to love the shit they love. Because there's some shit I love that is stupid. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you make fun of me, but there's shit I love that is stupid, and I would do this for that. So kudos to you, man, who modded your in Virtual Boy. With me, not a lot. I'm house hunting, and my AC is broke in my current house, and I'm broadcasting to you in my friggin' underwear. It is hot as balls in here. So that is house hunting. That's my...
He's down in Central Florida, if you guys didn't know. Meanwhile, up here in sunny Western New York, I went out to a baseball game, and that was wonderful to be in a t-shirt for a change and shorts and not have to worry about snow falling on my fucking ass.
It was like 94 degrees today, yo. It's too hot.
I think we were in the low 80s. It was nice. Other real-life news for me, I may be searching for a job here come towards the end of the month. I'm hoping not, but some shit's going down that I can't control that's going to cause me to lose a lot of work, so let's hope that doesn't happen, because I like my job quite a bit. Anyway, you want to get into our main topic?
Mega Man.
Mega Man.
I'm going to preface this by saying, at some point before too far, there is a video by the guy that does Sequelitis. I cannot think of his name right now, but he does a review of Mega Man coupled with Mega Man X. It's like 20 minutes long. I know for the internet that's like 10 years. No one wants to sit through this shit. That shit is hilarious. It is going to go into some shit we're not even going to touch on because it talks about Mega Man X, but that shit is great, and just I'm going to get that out of the way, because if I don't, people will be like, somebody else did this shit, and he's hilarious. Yeah, he's funny. So am I. Fucking deal with it. We're moving on.
He made me watch it before this broadcast, and it's an excellent video. Really should check it out. Maybe I'll include a link on the website for it. Anyway, Mega Man. What a great example of the platform genre. This game was incredible to me. I've heard great things about it. I never expected it to be so good on such a prehistoric system like the NES. The controls were tight. It felt like one-to-one motion. You never felt like the game fucked you, except for maybe when those flying heads came out as you were jumping across the chasm.
Yeah.
But short of that, the design was incredible. I loved I literally went through every frickin' stage before I found that Bomb Man was the first one I should have taken out. And I'm like, well, I hope I learned something from doing all that. And what's nice is once I had those bombs, I didn't even need them until the boss, because I had practiced on the stage getting to the frickin' boss that then I couldn't kill. So at least there's a nice learning curve in it. You never feel like you're fucked.
No, this game is fantastic. It's a shame the first Mega Man actually didn't do super great. It did eventually catch on later. Mega Man 2, though, it reached a whole, so much bigger audience. This game is great. It's one of the best platformers of the NES generation, if not the best. And it spawned a host of sequels, all of which are pretty great for the most part.
And now 1 through 6 are all available on the 3DS, and that's where I played mine. And even on there, the translation was great. And if you guys didn't know, this is actually called Rockman in Japan. And it was developed and published by Capcom and designed by Akira Kitamura. And it was released on December 17th in 1987 for the NES. Now, I don't know what you were doing in 1987 on December 17th, but I was celebrating my brother's birthday that day. He was 3. Nope, 4. Sorry, 4. And so that would have made me 5, so I don't remember much of that. But I think I got my NES maybe 2 years later than that, so I would have been well behind the curve to even have played this real time. Did you have it as a kid, or?
I did. I actually saved it up and bought it myself with allowance. And people that bitch about the price of games these days, dude, NES games and Super NES games, they were expensive as hell.
They were the same price, and money was worth a lot more.
Yeah, so expensive. Some of them are more. There was at least one game I paid like 70 real American dollars for in like 1987. That's so much money. Probably like, I don't know, inflation sucks, probably like $10,000 now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Did you
Especially
look
in
up
this economy?
Did you look up the box art like I told you to? Because the box
I
art for
did.
the original Mega Man is fucking the
horrible.
worst. It's
There's
why this
no
game.
way I would have bought that game based on that box art.
They actually credit that box art with the poor sales of the original Mega Man game because it was just so bad.
You'd think after the Atari, when everything was based on your good box art selling your game, because the box art was never going to live up to the gameplay. Everyone knew that. You needed good box art to sell the game. You think that would have been enough to get a much better picture of what's happening on the box. But no, we'll just let it go. People will buy it. No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Do you want to go into the gameplay a little bit?
This game is super, super fucking simple. There is not a lot to Mega Man, which is what makes it a great platformer. Essentially, you jump, you shoot. You jump, you shoot. You shoot, you jump and shoot. This is what you do. The depth of gameplay comes in when you beat individual bosses, you gain a unique power based on that boss. You beat Bomb Man, you get bombs. You beat Electric Man, you shoot fucking lightning. And each weapon was strong against a particular enemy. So half the challenge in this game was finding the right order in which to beat bosses. And unfortunately, you didn't figure that out until you'd already cleared through the level usually, gotten to the boss, and you're like, this is impossible. I don't understand. This is impossible.
My bullets are bouncing off
Right?
of him.
My lemons aren't working. So very simple, which I think helps this game and tremendously. Like, there's not a lot going on. You can focus strictly on the platforming elements.
One thing I realized about the gameplay, if you can get an enemy off the left side of the screen, they don't come back. Is that true on the original version as well?
You know, I don't remember. I seem to recall that being true, but I don't know. I also played. I cheated. I emulated.
If you emulated, then you'd be playing, basically the original.
Yeah, one would hope. It did not on the emulator. The left side they stayed off, but I don't remember about the original cartridge. I believe that to be true.
Because on the 3DS version, I first noticed it when I was on the Iceman level. Yeah, after you go across to the right the first time, then you drop down 2 levels. The first one you gotta get through all the jumping, and then you drop down to the second one. That area is wide enough that it actually spans across the screen for the spot where the little guy who will slide and take your feet out. You can get him to go off to the left, and once you do, then you're left with all those hard jumps to do without any enemies in the area, and that was really nice when I didn't have any bombs to take care of them, because I was trying to do Iceman first, and you can't do that.
You can. It's just
you have to be really good in that boss room against them ice waves.
Yeah. No, that's the trick. Is all of those bosses are doable, pretty much. Maybe not all of them. They're just insanely hard.
So we'll get into a little bit of the story. I mean, it's an NES game, so there's a story that was probably written in the manual that people know, but you don't really get much of that from the gameplay. So from Wikipedia, the plot for the English localization of Mega Man entails the events after the co-creation of the humanoid robot named Mega Man. That's right, you're playing as a robot. By genius Dr. Wright, who was later named Dr. Light, and his assistant Dr. Wily. The 2 scientists also created 6 other advanced robots: Cutman, Gutsman, Iceman, Bombman, Fireman, Elecman, and each of these robots is designed to perform industrial tasks involving construction, demolition, logging, electrical operations, or labor in extreme temperatures, all for the benefit of mankind in a location known as Monsteropolis. Mega Man Powered Up also introduced Time Man and Oil Man. The former is the Doctor's first experiment at time distortion, and the latter a maintenance unit for the other 7. However, Dr. Wily grows disloyal of his partner, reprograms the original 6 robots to aid himself in taking control of the world. Dr. Light sends Mega Man to defeat his fellow creations and put a stop to Dr. Wily. After succeeding, Mega Man returns home to his robot sister Roll and their creator Dr. Light.
So, I gotta stop you for a second, because you've now gotten to my favorite part of the Mega Man universe. Alright, so the game was originally called Rockman in Japan. We renamed it. And in the original plot for this game, as detailed in the manual, Mega Man, his name was Rock, and he was a lab assistant, right? And when Dr. Wily went evil, he took all the battle robots with him. So Dr. Light, Dr. Wright, whatever you want to call him, had to retrofit Rock into a battle robot, making him Rockman. Now, Rock has a sister named Roll, and I thought that was just the most adorable thing when I was like 6. And that was intentional. He was supposed to be named after Rock and Roll. And there you go. That's why he was called Rockman.
Remember, Kiss told us God gave rock and roll to you.
It's true.
Speaking of Kiss, the music in this game was pretty outstanding. It's very rare that music sticks out to me, but this one did.
You haven't played Mega Man 2, right? Like this is
not yet. No.
Mega Man 2 is actually renowned for its music. It's considered to have some of the best music in the Mega Man verse. They're really good. This game, the music is really good still. It is for me because I played the second one a little overshadowed, unfortunately. But it's really good, especially if I remember right, Fireman stage, which is brutally hard, but the tune is like super catchy. And it helps you. It kind of helps you through. Like you've got this nice upbeat, like catchy tune. And every time you die, you're like, God damn it! But then you start humming the tune again, and you just feel better.
Did any of the music actually make you do better? Did you play any of the like jumps to the beat or anything?
I didn't. I gotta be honest. I'm kind of ADHD when it comes to stuff, and because I played this game before, I turned the sound off and watched Netflix. So,
for
not
me,
all the time, but
the sounds really helped for me with the disappearing platforms and stuff like on Iceman's levels. It really helped me to get the timing down, but the music itself didn't really help with any of that. How far along did you get in the 2 weeks you were playing? Did you beat it again?
I did beat it again. I did cheat on Yellow Devil. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't tell you about the cheat because I didn't want you to do it, and then you would have felt cheated. I don't even know if it works on the 3DS version. This isn't emulator or anything. This is actually built into the original game. If you're using the elect beam, every time you pause the game and unpause it, it does damage again. And because it's a long beam, if you pause and unpause while the beam's going through him, you can one-shot him.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
He's a rat bastard that I didn't want to play again. So, and this was in the original cartridge, so I did not feel bad about using it.
I literally spent... I got to him this past Sunday. We were going to record on Tuesday. I spent Monday night working on it. I spent Tuesday after work working on it before we were going to record. Then you had some issues, so we couldn't record. And I didn't want to really touch it again because you just kept pissing me off trying to get over his little jumps. Finally today I got by him. And I got through Cutman 2, and I got through, who was the next one? Was it Iceman?
In the final level, I don't remember.
Yeah, one of the other bosses comes back as well, and I got through him, and then I got to the mirror match, and that's where I'm stuck now.
Iceman and Fireman, if I believe I think it's a. Yeah, I don't remember.
It was Cutman, the first one for me. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah.
Because I hit him with electricity, or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe it was Electman. I hit him with the cutting. Either way. I got through the two of them, and then I got to the Mega Man mirror match, and I have no clue how to beat that up. But I did end up cheating a little bit with the bosses by accident. I couldn't figure out how to get Gutsman's stuff to work, so I went to look up how to get Gutsman's power to work, because I was like, I'm pressing B, he doesn't do shit. I knew when I fought him, he threw shit at me, but there doesn't seem to be anywhere to throw, and my problem was I wasn't going against the right boss who had shit in his room to throw at him. So that was the only little bit of cheating I did, but I still got through up to the Mega Man mirror match.
You can also, I mean, this works on every boss, but the elect beam thing works on him as well if you really can't beat him.
Yeah, at this point I'm so far through that I'm going to try to figure it out myself and finish it right.
You should. That's honestly why I didn't want to tell you about it. The game is so good that you deserve to. You owe it to yourself to do it at least once. The mirror match is kind of a pain in the ass, though. Sucks.
I will say thank God for save states, because once again in this game they saved my ass from having to redo all that fucking work over and over again. That is one thing that I appreciate about emulation and modern remakes because I don't have the time to play another half hour just to get to where I was to continue on what I was doing.
That's one thing I don't miss about classic games necessarily is like, oh, you died, start over.
Recently I was at a party for St. Paddy's Day, and my buddy loaded up his Nintendo and put in Super Mario Brothers, the original, and he got through and got to that part in I think it's World 3 where you can get you can just keep jumping on the turtle shell to get unlimited lives. Yeah. And he must have gotten me 30, 40 lives, and then when he got to 8-1, he handed it to me. I said, here you go, finish the game. I must have burned through 30 lives getting through 8-1 because it'd been so long, and so I'm down to like 5 or so for 8-2, and I freaking lost the game. I was like, really? I know there's a cheat in there to continue on 8-1 again, but I'll only have 3 lives to get through that and the rest of the 8 world, and I was just like, ugh. Now, if I had a save state, that'd be much easier. I could have, when I finished 8-1, save state, started 8-2 again, go from there. What are you gonna do? That's actually how I ended up beating that game. Was I got the Super Mario All Stars on the Game Boy Color, and that came with the ability to save, and that's how I eventually finally beat that game.
To this day, I think the original Super Mario is the only game my mother has ever played, and she beat that game long before I did, which hurt my feelings a little.
I still haven't beaten Mario 2, but that's a whole another reason. That game's long as hell, too. So yeah, I became very, very proficient at Iceman because he was the first one I would go to all the time after I beat a new boss. So I started there. I'd get to him like, okay, this didn't seem to work. Now, it made sense in my mind that Fire would take care of Iceman. So maybe I should do Fire first. So he would be the second one I would go to, and that never worked out. And literally, Bomb Man was the 6th guy I tried to defeat before I got anybody down. It was kind of ridiculous. Do you remember how you had it when you first played it? Did you have help from kids at school or anything like that?
Yeah, I did. We would talk about it and stuff. It was one of the things that I didn't get the game right as it came out. I got it probably a year or two later. I'm probably closer to 2 years. And the boss strategies was pretty well known among kids by that point. So it was kind of like, oh yeah, you just fight him in this order. So I didn't really get the like. I tried a few times, obviously, but I had a fair amount of help in telling me the order.
The thing about not knowing that order, that's what gave the game replayability. Nowadays, you play through a game and you're done, and you hope someday your $40 will come back and still be worth something. But now they give you DLC, so you go back to the game. And the DLC in this game was the difficulty because it was so hard, and you felt like the game wasn't cheating you. That's why you go back and play it. And that's one of the nice things about modern games today is maybe they're not as hard, but you got more storyline. But when you go back to those old games, and yeah, there's basically 6 levels in this. Well, 7 levels. You count the Dr. Wily levels. But it takes you almost as long to learn how to get through this as it would playing Skyrim. I mean, it's freaking ridiculous.
Have you played Demon Souls or Dark Souls?
I have Dark Souls on Steam, and I've played through off that first area to get to like the island or whatever it is around the fire. That's about as far as I've gotten. The graphic style to me is kind of so I have to be in the right mood to play it because it makes me feel like Fallout makes me feel. I get kind of depressed at looking at the world.
It is a little depressing. The world is it's doing its job essentially. The
right.
World is
I understand it's supposed to be that way.
I draw a pretty clear parallel in my mind between games like Mega Man and Dark Souls. So I want you to invest at some point. Get on because I think you'll like it if you can get into it.
I actually started doing a Let's Play on it, but for some reason. The app I used to record it, what is this thing called? I can't remember now. Where are you? Bad podcasting, Pete. Bad podcasting. Anyway, it doesn't matter. XSplit, that's it. I up until this week, I couldn't figure out why when I was playing even Mega Man, I'm like, this can't be eating up my entire processor the way it's acting. I figured out I have to have my mouse pointer in the window of what I'm doing in order for that to be prioritized with the processing power.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's not rendering everything at once.
Yeah. So now that I got that figured out, maybe I'll go back and be able to record it again. But yeah, I really wanted Dark Souls when it came out. If that makes me feel a little better. Yeah. The only reason I even know about that game is because I was with you and the guys in the guild in WoW, and you guys were like, "Oh, we don't got enough guys to play. Hey, you want to go play Dark Souls? Yeah, let's go do that." Blah, 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 blah. Like it literally took over you guys' lives for like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that game is great.
Glad I showed up to go raid.
Yeah, well, we were all sad. I also wanted to raid. There's so much free time now that we don't raid.
And that's why we got a new podcast.
You're welcome.
So is there anything else you want to talk about with Mega Man? I mean, it's kind of a simple game. There's not really a whole lot to talk about it, but
it is great. And if you've never played it, or even if you played it and have forgotten it, go do yourself a favor and go play it again. It will kick your ass, and you will enjoy every second of it.
So, score out of 10, go.
I'm going to give this an 8, and the only reason I'm going to give it an 8, and this is a little unfair, is that the subsequent games get better, and I need somewhere to go. I can't give every Mega Man game a 10 as we do this. So I need some growth room, because Mega Man X is a 10. Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, these are like 8s and 9s. But honestly, this game deserves a 10. I'm hedging my bet, so I have growth room. This game is great.
The way I'm going to look at this scale, which I'm going to hope to do with every game we present from now on, is if it's between 7 and 10, to me that is a great game and basically a must-buy for me. And if it's a 6 to a 4, then it's kind of okay. I'll spend a little bit of time on it. No big deal. Anything lower than that, keep it on the fucking shelf. And for me, I also give this an 8. It's well into that definitely play and buy area. And I can easily see how this inspires other platformers that have come out after it. Even to modern stuff like Trine, you can see how the jumping and the one-to-one motion of the characters is really fitting. And you have height control on your jump based on how long you hold the button. Stuff like that. It's so innovative for back then.
Which you can only get, for the record, with analog. Digital ain't gonna get you that.
Depending on how many points of articulation, but yeah.
That's true, but with a single button, I mean, I guess you could put in 100 digital stops in it, but come on. Analog, baby. Everybody's all about digital. It's analog sometimes is the best way to do it.
Well, an NES controller is actually digital, but it's based on a timer. So the timer gives you the analog steps.
Yeah, times how long you hold it. Yep, you are correct.
Okay. So normally this is where we put in our listener shit, if any listeners actually wanted to participate in the show. And, well, normally we would have live chat. That's not happening tonight. Thank you, Twitch, again, you fucking dicks. So, yeah, we got nothing from listeners. So what are we doing next week?
Next week is gonna be Donkey Kong Country, the original.
Yeah. I have a big question for you on that, because I decided to, since I had today off, I decided to load it up on my Wii, because my Wii's hacked, and put it in the emulator there. Are the controls laggy all the time, or is that something that's going on with this particular emulation? Because jumping seems to take forever.
I don't know how. I have to see your exact situation. I will say that after playing Mega Man, Donkey Kong is not quite as one-to-one as Mega Man was, mostly because the donkey is freaking huge and takes up too much screen real estate. The game is still great. I think you're probably having a little bit... If it's bothering you a lot, it's probably more than just the innate latency, because it's minute. It's just not quite as responsive as Mega Man, in my opinion. I think you may be having an issue on your Wii.
Okay, so maybe there's an issue with the Bluetooth or something. I'll give it a shot in my PC and make sure that's, because there everything's wired. I shouldn't have an issue with latency there. And the nice thing is I got so many systems and ways to emulate right now that I can always take games with me. So like I have an SNES on my tablet, so I can bring a Wii controller, hook it up to the tablet, play on that. And so that's really convenient.
Can't imagine.
I don't have for picking an iPad.
That's true, but I love my iPad, so I, I get to play The Room. That game is fucking great. If you can get that on Android, you should buy that. That game is fantastic.
The Room?
The Room. I don't know if it exists anywhere but iOS. That game is fantastic. It's like $5. It's fairly short, but it is like my favorite.
Oh, look at it's a physical puzzler.
Yeah,
by Fireproof Games.
Yep, that's it.
Yep, $2.
It probably come down. I bought it like 2 years ago.
Okay.
I cannot stress to you enough. Spend $2. To listeners as well. The Room by Fireproof Games is probably my favorite use of a touch device ever. Do not play it on a non-touch device. It's the way the game is designed to be played is on a touch device. It uses it fantastically. It's a lot of fun. You're gonna get $2 worth of enjoyment out of it. I guarantee it.
All right, it's downloading now. See how that works?
I should get commission.
So yeah, anything more you want to say about Donkey Kong Country?
I don't want to spoil you too much on it. I really enjoyed this game. It's a little nonsensical with the banana currencies and the being shot through the trees with magical barrels and your tiny monkey sidekick. But overall, the game is really good. You fight crocodiles. I mean,
I'm going to mention something that I've already found. I've played one level and the beginning of the second, and I've already found a way to get infinite lives.
Yeah, they didn't make it hard. It's not hard, and even there's ways to buy lives. There's if you collect enough bananas, you can just buy them. You can find them. The game is not. It's definitely not a Mega Man. They want you to beat it eventually. So
I will say I do like the tumbling. So it seems fun. I hope it looks a little better on my computer monitor than it did on my 55-inch television, which was pixelated as fuck.
Yeah, it's not. It is not HD. Not even a little.
So I'll probably play it in an 800 by 600 window on my PC for most of it.
If you like it, maybe one day I'll force you to come play Donkey Konga on my GameCube.
Ooh, with the conga paddles?
I do have the Congo paddles. I bought them when I worked at GameStop for $2.
Did you get them used?
Oh, yeah.
I bet you I could probably go buy a set of them for the same price right now.
It's a ridiculous game.
Problem is I don't have a GameCube, but I do have a Wii that still has the GameCube ability, not like the later versions.
I also have a GameCube. My GameCube and a Wii. I play usually on my Wii. I've actually recently, I forgot to put this in my list. It's been a few weeks though, so maybe it doesn't count. Eternal Darkness. That fucking game is the shit. That's my jam, yo.
What's that on?
Eternal Darkness is a GameCube-only game. It's made by Silicon Knights, the guys that did Too Human, if you remember Too Human. One of their first games was Eternal Darkness. Sanity's Requiem, I think is what the full title.
Yep.
And it's actually kind of hard to find. The used copies of it go for like $40 or $50 sometimes.
Damn.
But if you really want to play it, I will literally mail you my copy, and you can play it.
I'd have to buy a controller, but that's no big deal.
It is probably the greatest GameCube game of all time. It is. It plays hell with your senses. It essentially what happens. It's based on the Cthulhu mythos, and when you start the game, you pick up one of 3 stones in the first level, and each stone actually changes the game and the bosses in the game. So there's technically 3 playthroughs, and if you play through all 3, you actually get a special ending, which is pretty fantastic. But while you're playing this game, it jumps through time. It's you start in the modern era, and every time you make a little bit of headway in like solving this puzzles in this mansion, you get rewarded with a rewind, and then you play through one historical period, doing different puzzles and stuff. And there you have a sanity meter, and anytime you see some crazy shit like Cthulhu monsters, your sanity meter drops, and eventually the walls start bleeding around you, the screen will shake, you'll see enemies that aren't actually there, and eventually it actually gets meta, and it'll like it'll say your controller is unplugged, and you'll like go look at it, and you're like, and you have to unplug it and plug it back in, kind of like Psycho Mantis from like PlayStation 1.
Solid Snake, yeah.
It's a lot like that. Like it'll start like one of the things it does is the most fucked up. It'll pop up a save screen, and you'll try to save, and it'll only give you two options. It'll give you start game over or delete memory card, and that's the only thing you can do on the whole screen, and you have to pick one of them. It doesn't actually do either, but you don't have an option, and the first time it comes up, well shit.
Well shit.
So, and that's the least of I don't want to give them all away, but the game fucks with you in the headspace, and it's actually a lot of fun. The graphics are pretty dated at this point, so it makes it a little hard to play. Well worth the investment, though. The game is pretty fantastic.
That's the thing. You know, you look back at Nintendo graphics like we were playing Mega Man, and, you know, they still look great because they use sprites. You go back to stuff that used polygons, like like GameCube, and they look like crap now.
I'm going to make a confession. I've never played all the way through Final Fantasy VII. I'm an 8 guy. I love Final Fantasy 8. I played it like 6 times. That game is great. I tried to play 7 multiple times to see what all the hype was about, but I missed the boat. So by the time I got to it, I couldn't figure out how to play it. I was like, am I in a store? What? Am I behind the counter? What is? I don't understand any of this. Oh, God damn it, this sucks. And then I would quit.
Is that a result of the polygons, or?
Yeah, it just looks terrible. Like, it's the worst. Like, especially blown up on a big TV, and it looks like a pixelated nightmare. Like, you can't tell anything that's going on. It's the worst. It's just, also, I'm just gonna say, Squall better than Cloud. Just throwing that out there. Final Fantasy forever.
On that note, I think we're gonna go ahead and close this out. Do you want to give the links away, or do you want me to close it out?
Oh, I'll let you do it.
Alright, so you can catch us at returntotheretro.com. We're going to hopefully be doing maybe some game reviews and stuff in the next coming weeks. I want to kind of make it a bit better than just, hey, we got a new episode. Hey, we're going to record. Hey, we have a new episode. Hey, we're going to record. You can catch us on Twitter at returnretro, facebook.com/returntotheretro, twitch.tv/returntotheretro when they're operating. Fuck you, Twitch. youtube.com/returntotheretropod. Email is hosts@returntotheretro.com. So there's a theme here, Return of the Retro. That's our title. Get it? Good.
We're up on iTunes now, right?
Yes, we are up on iTunes as well. Return of the Retro podcast. It should get you there. Also, if you can't find it on iTunes for some silly reason, you can find our feed on our website. There's a link for just the audio podcast feed. Obviously, all our shows will come out on YouTube as well, so if you want to do it that way, that's fine too. And once again, I want to say thanks to the Geek Insomnia Network for letting us be their token 80s pop hit in their otherwise metal playlist. And thanks again to Tim Bray of freesound.org for our theme song that will take us out.